Food is one of the basic needs of human. Food is the third most important things for living beings to provide energy and development, maintain life, or stimulate growth after air and water. In fact, it is the one of the most complicated set of chemicals. Food plays an important role in our daily life. Without food, we cannot survive. Food gives us all the required nutrients that our body needs in order to perform activities in our day.
As of now, we are facing many different challenges across the world, such as environmental accident, global warming, and industrial pollution. But there is something else that is happening that many of us are not aware of: food waste. Food waste is food that is left uneaten, unused, or discarded. There are many reasons food becomes wasted, and the loss of potentially useful food products can occur at the producing, processing, retailing, and consuming stage. Food waste is a big issue. It is estimated that between a third and half of all food produced ends up being wasted. Furthermore, in least economically developed nations, about 100 kilograms of food per person per year is wasted at the consumption stage alone. The Food and Agriculture Organization report that food waste is responsible for around 8% of human-made greenhouse gas emissions. The Food Agriculture Organization also reported that nearly 30% of all available agricultural land on Earth is used for food, which is left uneaten or eventually wasted.
And now, we have 7 various causes of food waste. First, lack of appropriate planning. Second, purchase and preparation of too much food. And third, errors in industrial processing and keeping up with food safety policies. 4, managerial, financial, and technical constraints. 5, over-preparation of food in restaurants, hotels, and food service industry. 6, over-merchandising and over-ordering in food stores and supermarkets. And last 7, consumer behavior.
1. Lack of appropriate planning. One of the top contributors to food wastage is because of a lack of appropriate planning on the consumer part. Sometimes, people buy lots of food without appropriately making plans on when and how the food will be prepared for consumption. 2. Purchase and preparation of too much food. Most of the time, food is also wasted because of purchasing or preparing too much. If one purchases or prepares too much food than is needed, then it's obvious to excess food on a plate will go to waste. 3. Errors in industrial processing and keeping up with food safety policies. The food safety protocols gives no room for error in industrial processing or any other compromise that diminish the quality of the final food products. As such, the confusions and errors during industrial processing of food mean that all food items that don't meet the set standards are wasted. 4. Managerial, financial, and technical constraints. The wastage takes place because of the constraints to do with a lack of proper management, indicate finance and technical difficulties in the lines of harvesting methods, storage and cooling problems in adverse weather conditions, processing, packaging, infrastructure, and marketing system. 5. Over-preparation of food in restaurants, hotel, and the food service industry. Since the food service operation lack of the ability to quantify the amount of food consumed on average, the kitchens keep producing amounts thought to be enough, but most of it is actually not needed. 6. Over-merchandising and over-ordering in food stores and supermarkets. Food service operations are habitually more focused on over-merchandising in food stores and supermarkets by using beautiful and attractive displays thereby creating the idea of abundance in an attempt to promote sales and customer satisfaction. 7. Consumer behavior. The consumer behavior on focus here is the tendency of having a keen insight for good judgment, which results in those who only prefer unblemished vegetables and fruits, and the restrictive must display for shelf-life dates.
Here are some effects of food waste. 1. Biodiversity loss. 2. Wastage of 1/3 of the world's fertile land areas. 3. Blue water footprint. And 4. Increased carbon footprint in the acceleration of climate change. And last, economic
1.
consequence.
Biodiversity loss. Food wastage impact biodiversity loss at a global level. The reason for this is that practices such as slash and burn, deforestation, and conversion of wild areas in farmlands have destroyed the natural habitats for birds, fish, mammals, and amphibians. 2. Wastage of 1/3 of the world's fertile lands areas. According to research, the produced but unconsumed food accounts for approximately 1.4 billion hectares of land, constituting almost 1/3 of the planet's agricultural land. By looking at this from a well-thought analytical angle, the world is wasting 30% of the world's fertile land, which could be used for other meaningful purposes. 3. Blue water footprint. The volume of water used in agricultural food production is immense. This contributes to blue water footprint, which refers to the amount of consumed surface and groundwater resources that goes to waste. 4. Increased carbon footprint and the acceleration of climate change. The food produced and then later goes to waste is estimated to be equivalent to 3.3 billion tons of greenhouse gas emission, accelerating the impacts of climate change. The reason for this is the consideration for the energy wasted and the primary use of fossil fuels in food production, including process and cooking together with transportation to various consumer markets worldwide. 5. Economic consequences. In addition to the environmental impacts, food wastage also results in direct economic cost. According to FAO's report, estimate the economic losses associated with food wastage is about $750 billion per annum.
Here are some proper ways of amazing solutions to food. First, balancing food production with demand. Second, bettering food harvesting, storage, processing, and distribution processes. Third, food waste reduction initiatives. Fourth, consume to buy and prepare food with a plan. Fifth, food recycling. Sixth, footprint
Solution to food waste. Number 1. Balancing food production with demand. For most, precedents should be centered on balancing food production with the demand to reduce the problem of food waste. The first thing is to cut back on the use of natural resources in food production. In hotels, restaurants, and the food service industry, risk management tools can be applied. Second solution to food waste. Bettering food harvesting, storage, processing, and distribution processes. The second strategy should be placed on developing efficient technologies and production systems that better storage, harvesting, processing, and distribution processes. The distribution can be the initial strategy for supplying or distributing more food to where there is a need, and reducing supply where the food is in surplus. Third solution to food waste. Food waste reduction initiatives. Supermarkets, retail food outlets, big restaurants, and individual consumers all alike can also work on their own tailored and creative efforts to reduce food footprint. For instance, individual consumers can cut back their food footprint by not necessarily placing a high preference for the best food quality. A fourth solution to food waste. Consumers to buy and prepare food with a plan. The use of meal plans in preparing food can go a long way in ending food waste. Consumers should only buy food according to their plans or in a small batches to reduce the food that goes to waste due to expiration after long storage periods. Fifth solution to food waste. Food recycling. Food recycling efforts are already underway, but the technologies and methods used should be better. Starch-rich foodstuffs such as crisp, bread, biscuits, and breakfast cereals can, for instance, be recycled into high-quality feeds for livestock. Sixth solution to food waste. Footprint campaigns. Campaigns for reducing food footprint can help fishers, farmers, supermarkets, food processors, individual consumers, and the local and national governments to work on strategies for preventing food waste.